Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. My name is Victoria Nkatha, and this is Responding to Life. And we are here on Thriving Thursday again. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. This is yet another session where we'll be discussing matters mental health, where we'll be digging a little bit deeper into the aspects of women and mental health. The last time that we were here, we discussed children and mental health, and today we're discussing women and mental health. So, this is a Women's Mental Health Week here at Responding to Life, where we want to focus a lot on that. Now, with that said, I am not alone today. I am joined by the beautiful Eunice Nderitu, who's having a few technical issues, but will be with us shortly. And we kindly apologize for the delay in terms of the starting time, but hopefully, we will still have a great time, have a great session, and be able to learn as much as possible. So, with that said, do share the live session. Do tell a friend to tell a friend to come and join us, so that we all can join in the discussion. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unravel. And for the men who are thinking, what about us? We are left out. Yes, in June, there is Men's Mental Health Week, and we'll be focusing solely on men. So do not feel left out. Now, that said, I will be very quick to tell you to join the show. Join the show, tell a friend to tell a friend, and remember to use the hashtags Thriving Thursday and Responding to Life. Also, remember to follow us on our social media accounts, which are down below. Eunice's social media accounts are also down below, and you'll be able to see her in just a few. Now, the topic of the day is women and mental health. And remember also that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So be aware of this and be able to let people know that this is that month, and we want to be able to have the best practices so that we can be able to manage our mental health in the best way possible. So be sure to take those small steps towards a positive mental state so that you are able to live in the healthiest way possible. Now, with that said, I am joined here by Eunice. Good evening, Eunice. How are you? I'm going to test your sound today. She is
Okay.
joining on two places. I cannot have her in the background because she has to join from two areas. So we're going to deal with that. So Eunice, tell us, how are you today?
Hi, Victoria. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. My name is Eunice Nderitu. I am a digital marketer, a brand strategist, and a communication specialist. I am also a mental health advocate. Sorry, I'm kind of hearing my voice in the background, so I'm kind of having a problem with that, but I'll definitely fix that shortly. I'm really happy to be here, Victoria, and I am glad that we are getting to discuss one more amazing topic. And the last time we discussed about women body positivity, but I'm glad that today we are focusing on mental health. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Eunice. And the reason why you can hear yourself is because you're joined on two different
Mhm.
devices. That's why you're hearing yourself, and that's why it's repeating itself. So, not sure if the other device, if you can speak, you're muted. Oh, we can't hear you on that device. So I think you have to change your device completely and then use that one instead. So that will be much, much better. We can't hear you on this device. Okay, great. And like Eunice said, the last time we were here together, we were discussing body positivity. And today we are all about matters women and mental health. So with that said, we want to dive into the discussion, and the first thing that we're going to tackle is the factors that influence mental health issues in women. And as I wait for Eunice to set her gadgets up, I'll be going into the discussion, and please do engage in the comment section. And the first thing that we want to tackle is the pressure to be caregivers. Now, one of the things that women usually have a problem with is the fact that they have to be caregivers, sorry, and naturally, and sometimes to a point of it's a role and it's an expectation. A lot of women feel the pressure and the need to be caregivers, and this often leads to stress, anxiety, and isolation. A lot of people have noticed that women who always have to handle, the family, they always have to handle, even men, they have to handle, even the people that are around them. Often women are expected to have this ability to, take care of everybody that is around them. And this often gives a certain unrealistic expectation and a certain unrealistic, pressure to themselves, because often you're told that women should be this, women should be that. And when you act out of what is not considered the norm, you are often shunned down upon. You're often called a woman who's not a woman. You're often called names in the society because you do not conform to the aspect of not being a certain type of woman. And that is quite problematic in the society. And let me know what your thoughts are on this. Even for the women who are here, who are listening, what are the pressures that you feel in terms of being a caregiver, and the aspect of being a caregiver? Do you feel pressured, or is this something that comes naturally to you? Also, if it comes naturally, is there a certain burden that you feel that could be lifted if there wasn't a certain expectation towards yourself? So do let us know in the comments. And I would like Eunice to come on board for the topic and tell me what her thoughts are, and let me know what she thinks about the topic. But before then, I'd like to hear what you also have to say in the comment section. And before I go on to it, I want to make sure that I also give our guests an opportunity to also say something. Now, with that said, I'm gonna quickly go over to the next, and then we'll circle back, and then Eunice will join in when she's ready. Now, number two, work life balance. Now, this connected to the caregiving. A lot of us are usually put on with the pressure of having to, balance home and work. A lot of discussions nowadays are going on to, women should stay at home, women should take care of the kids, women should not work. But we're also seeing a huge rise in women who are going into corporate, women who are going to work, women who are going to do their own thing, right? We're seeing this rise of numbers, and quite often women have an issue balancing the two. They have a problem being able to take care of the family, and being able to also take care of their work aspects. They have the issue to have, create this balance between work and life. And often a lot of women see this is problematic. Again, we go back to the aspect of the expectations that are set on being a woman, being a caregiver, being a nurturer. But we also have the expectation that is at work, where women are seen to have to work twice as hard, or thrice as hard, to be able to make sure that they earn certain positions or they're respected at work. And we'll explain on this, because there are a lot of people who say that this is a fallacy, but indeed it is true. We see a lot of women who have to work, and in some places, not all places, some places where some women have to constantly, do the double, do the triple of what their male counterparts have to do, because they have to prove themselves at a workplace. And this creates an aspect of stress and anxiety to women, whereas they cannot be able to properly and healthily create a balance. And this is also one of the things that is a factor towards women and their mental health issues. And I know that, we will expound a lot more on some of these factors, because there are a lot of them that, we don't think about when we're looking at women, and why, you know, sometimes we constantly talk about the girl child and so on and so forth. There are a lot of people who do not understand that, but there's a lot of pressure even in our own cultures, especially in cultures that, for lack of a better word, are, more patriarchal. We realize that there's a certain expectancy of women and their role in society. And that is a huge problem. So now we're seeing that women are climbing the corporate ladder. But when it gets to a point where they, for instance, have to get kids, or they have kids in the home, or they have, they have a marriage they need to take care of, and so on and so forth, they end up having issues creating this work life balance, which now brings them to a point of stress, anxiety, and even questioning whether they are able to handle themselves and handle all the, responsibility that comes with being a career woman, comes with being a mother, comes with being a wife, because there is a lot of expectation. So when we talk about this, we talk about these things. Now imagine you're dealing with a counterpart who doesn't have the pressures that you probably have in the level. Again, not that they're not there for the male counterparts, but because they're not there in the level of which we place it on women, because there is, again, that expectation. There is that heavy expectation that is placed on women, and who women should be, how women should be, how women should act, how women should behave, how women should be as mothers, how women should be as career women, how women should be as wives, and so on and so forth. So there is that, and that affects women's mental health more than we think. It really affects them heavily. And being a woman myself, being someone who really highly values my job, really also is a very, very um uh family oriented woman. My language just switched to Danish all of a sudden. But a career oriented woman, I face that challenge. I face that, am I going to be the best mother there is? And do I fit in the role of a perfect wife? Do I fit in the role of a perfect leader at work and an example, and so on and so forth? And this can, if not handled well, can create stress and anxiety. So with that said, we're also going to go back to we're also going to go to the domestic and gender-based violence. So domestic and gender-based violence. Now, one of the things that we have seen quite often is that, and unfortunately quite often, is that we've seen very many cases of women who are going through domestic and gender-based violence, especially after the pandemic. We have seen that a lot, and this is an issue because it has been somewhat of a second pandemic. Cases have risen all over the globe, and this is even according to the United Nations statistics, where we have seen cases of women who are going through domestic and gender-based violence rise. There's a case also that was recently back in Kenya, from where I come from, where we even saw a woman being abused in the streets, and that was gender based violence. And we see that women are more prone to certain um, violence than men are. And this is a reality. We need to call it for what it is. They're more prone to be violated, to be attacked, and so on and so forth, by people who are, not necessarily the best human beings, or thinking in the best capacities or to their full capacities in society. And we don't even talk about this. We don't emphasize a lot on this. And once these conversations come up, we often say not all men, and so on and so forth, instead of calling out the things as they are. It's not about men, it's not about women, it's not a gender war. It is about what is the problem, and why are we seeing such a huge increase in domestic and gender-based violence. And these are the things that we need to call out for what they are. We need to emphasize on them. We need to speak on them. We need to, call them out, because these things are causing a lot of issues when it comes to women and mental health issues. We're currently working with Quinta, who is a great friend of mine, and we're currently working with her to be able to support women who have gone through gender based violence, to be able to economically empower them. If you follow me on Twitter, then you know that this is a cause that I am I've been with it since what seems to be the beginning, honestly, until where it is now, where we want to economically empower these women so that they do not go back to their abusers. And one of the things that also um facilitates, or rather pushes more for these women to have mental health issues, is the fact that half of them, or 95% of them, not even half of them, a lot of them are not in a position where they can be able to fund for themselves. So we go back to the work life balance, right? We have women who maybe stop working because they cannot find this work life balance. They have to now go and be dependent on their abusers, and then now they are abused to the level that they have no choice than to stay there, because they have nowhere else to go. They have nothing else to do. They cannot be able to leave because they have been in that situation for a long time. Let's say, for instance, you one did not have the strength to be able to handle everything. Again, we go back to the work life balance. All these things are connected, right? All these things are connected. We go back to the work life balance. you have you start from your lady, you have your things in order, and so on and so forth, but then you get a family and so on, and then you all of a sudden cannot handle everything, and then you, let's say, give up on the or on the work aspect, and then you go to handling your family. But then over time, things in the family get, stressful, or let's say your partner gets, loses their job. There are a lot of situations that have been like that during the pandemic, where a man has lost his job, and then all of a sudden everything is just boiling up in the house, boiling up in the environment that people are in, and then boom, things start happening, right? And one of the things about domestic and gender-based violence is that most of the victims cannot run. Most of the victims, and this is one of the things that we constantly talk about, we constantly question people, why don't you just walk away? There are a lot of things that come in walking away. Am I able to fund these kids? Am I able to take care of these kids? No. If I'm in a situation where I had to walk away from a toxic situation, or rather I had to walk away from a situation that I could not handle, and now I'm here, this is my dependency, I'm dependent on this person to be able to fund my kids, to be able to take care of me as well, chances are I will not walk away. And this is the situation that a lot of women are seeing, and therefore staying in domestic and domestic violence homes and situations. And this, because of this problem, they have no other option than to live with what it is, and this makes them deteriorate mentally. And that is one thing that we have to talk about, and I need people to also see it from that perspective. The reason why we're having these conversations is for all of us to be able to understand, even from a perspective, it's from a woman's perspective, right? We need to be able to understand these issues and these concerns. So that's one of the things that is an issue. We're gonna try and bring Eunice back. Could be okay now. Eunice, are you there? Your mic is off on both devices. Can you hear
Hello,
me?
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. We'll have to do with both
Um,
devices, and you'll have to live with hearing yourself.
clearly, that's what I'm currently struggling with. But
you you
definitely,
you'll just have to live with hearing yourself, because we want you in the conversation.
no problem, no problem.
Great, great. The funny thing is that we had her sound completely in order when we were doing the check-ins, but then all of a sudden she decided to walk away and then come back, and then boom, nothing was happening. Nothing was working. She just took a step away, and then boom, everything. Yeah. But now we have her, and she'll have to deal with hearing herself. Darling, please tell us, what are your thoughts on the three things that I just ran through: the pressure to be caregivers, work life balance, and domestic and gender based violence, before we go on to the next?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for putting up with my bad microphone. So congratulations on dealing with that in a very mature way. Thank you so much for that. Anyway, back to the discussion today. I feel like women have to deal a lot in the society, basically.
we have to deal a lot in terms of balancing career, being caregivers, like you've said, and still being able to also provide for the family and not fully depending on the man to just do everything. So when it comes to being caregivers, I feel like we have a lot to do, and which kind of messes up with our mental health if we're not really trying to balance everything at the same time. So what women need is more uh, platforms to discuss about mental health and women mental health. We also need to stop trying to compete with people. Like, for example, what I've been seeing lately, especially on social media, is that when someone has a man, you find that they're trying to compete with their man meeting up the standards of what other people are doing. And also you find that even in the family, you find that the woman is trying to compete with even their neighbors in terms of buying things in the house, providing for the family in the same capacity as other families are doing, which I think it's quite overwhelming for them. So it's very difficult for women to be able to balance that, especially being emotional beings. Because I believe that women we are mostly driven by feelings, by emotions, unlike men. So in terms of balancing that, it can be quite overwhelming for women.
Absolutely, and I agree with you completely. There's also another aspect of sexual abuse. Now we're going into it because we'd like to also go into the healing. We have just a couple of points,
Mhm.
and then we'll be able to discuss for the next 30 minutes what are the healing points. But sexual abuse. I ran through the first three, so I'd want to hear your extensive thoughts on sexual abuse and how this, excuse me, also affects women and mental health.
Okay, first of all, sexual abuse is not just about rape. It's also about how people talk to you in terms of the discussions that we have in the office, when you're going to the shop or to the mall, the comments that people throw on you. You know, all those things can be sexual abuse, not directly rape, or it's not supposed to be intimate for it to be sexual abuse. So it can also be verbal. I feel like women have to deal with a lot of sexual violence, especially workplaces. You'll find that most men, they're just gonna comment on something, even your cute outfit that you really took 5 hours or even a day to prepare on how you're gonna look good for that board meeting, for that party. You find that they focus more on that. They'll be like, okay, you know what, you kind of look sexy, but there's some kind of compliments that are not supposed to be said. And if they're said, they become sexual. It's a sexual abuse to say such things. So I feel like women also have to deal with that a lot, and not just rape. And also in the society, women actually risk. They're at a very high risk of being sexually abused in the society. And you find that people give excuses for that. They'll say, your dress was short, you kind of showed me that you're into it. They face all these things in different ways, and not just intimacy and all that. So we have to deal with a lot of things. We have to be stronger. We have to just ignore the voices in the office, ignore those negative comments that people can throw on you. And we have to also teach the society, because sexual violence is both ways. It's not just men that are doing it to women. Also, women are doing it to themselves, and also women are doing it
Exactly.
to each other.
Exactly. And I saw a post where somebody said that there are women who are, calling her out, and sometimes it's even harder to put women, tell women, don't do that to me, right? Whereas we see a lot of women
Mhm.
who go on and women will be like, or whatever, I can't do that thing. And so or
Mhm.
women be like, they be grabbing on you and you don't like it. And I know a lot of people usually say, oh, but I thought women keep on grabbing each other. Trust me, sometimes with some women, you're like, Don't touch me," right? And it's this whole idea
Yes.
of, if I haven't consented or shown you that, hey, this is okay, right? Or giving
Mhm.
you access to touching me. I feel like a lot of people usually think that, oh, it's just woman on woman, and then boom, somebody just grabs you. You're like, don't grab me. If I haven't given you the consent, don't you dare grab me. And I have to actively consent to that. Consent does not go only towards men and versus women, but it also goes women to women. Don't touch me if I
Mhm.
haven't said that, and some of these things, especially, and I noticed this as well. I used to be one of those people who also like do whatever I want because I think women, until I learned these things. And sometimes we learn and unlearn, right? You'd grab a woman, especially if she has a big booty, or una chocos at something, and like pa, like, and all that kind of thing. So like, no, it's not until I grew to understand that this is sexual abuse, and it could be
It
very,
is.
very serious, and you don't understand how much it actually impacts someone else. um
Mhm.
let us just quickly go down to the comments. We have Bravin Yuri, who's an active mental health advocate, saying great conversation. Thank you very much. Jenny Rongo is sharing hearts, and thank you very much. Kenda is telling us amazing conversation as always. Thank you very much. Circle Med Group says amazing. Thank you very much for that. And then we're gonna go into also sexual abuse in the sense that people also say stuff about you. Let's say, for instance, I am heavily endured in some areas, and I know that you're heavily endured in some areas, right? But
Definitely.
but the thing is that also these things can really attract certain comments, and I think also that is also something that we need to educate people on. Do not comment on people's bodies unless you're familiar. Even on your familiar, there needs to be that aspect of respect, but also that level of familiarity that we know that it's okay, that oh, you can, yeah, you're okay, we're okay with it. But a rule of thumb: never comment on anybody's body if you do not know them, or if they haven't given you the consent to do so, because that is also abuse. We need to understand these things, and that can easily go in and trigger somebody's feelings about themselves, give them insecurities about themselves. I know of stunning women who have been abused to a level where everyone keeps on commenting until it gets to a point where they just have completely shied off who they are, and they've shied off, their confidence, because of the fact that they have felt violated, because they feel that I am of more substance than what you see, right? And that's what they feel. And I
Yeah.
think that also goes in. People do not understand how certain comments can easily become negative, even if meant otherwise. They can go in and make somebody question, is this all people see about me? If you look at me, are you only seeing my boobs and my booty and my hips and my waist? Because I am of more substance than that. And that can easily trigger self esteem issues. It can easily trigger, I do not want to be seen as an object. I do not want to
Yeah.
be seen as, just that. I am much more than that. And I think this is something that a lot of people, both men and women, do not comprehend. Some women do not comprehend. What are your takes on that?
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Can you hear
Can you
me?
hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. There are a lot of things.
You have to
Can
unmute
you
your
hear me?
mic, and then, yes, then now remove the other device, because now we can hear you on this one. We can
Oh,
hear you on this one
interesting.
now.
That is
Yes, I
actually
can hear you
going
on
to
this
make
one
my
now.
work easy.
Finally.
So you can hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. I love it.
Okay, the problem is I
No,
can't
no,
hear you,
don't put
so
them. Don't put
if,
them on. Okay.
but I cannot hear you if I not put them on.
Okay, if you put them on, we're gonna have static again. So put them on the phone.
Okay, no
You
problem,
can
no
you can
problem.
do that, and then you can put them on the phone. Yes, that will be much better. Great. Okay, and now you muted yourself here.
Just give me a minute on that because I will
Great.
not be able to hear you. Just give
Not
me
a
a minute on
problem.
that. Yeah.
Not a problem. Okay, so with that said, I'm just gonna go in the comment section again. Amy says, "Love hearts, thank you for that." Republic of Kenya, amazing. Republic of Kenya says, "Amazing, Eunice, keep it up." Amazing, Eunice, keep it up. And then Bree says, "Love hearts." Shikina Glory says, "Amazing discussion." And then Duncan says, "Very powerful, Eunice. Not only women, but our young men are abused too." Yes,
That is my
absolutely.
father.
He's always supportive. Hey, sir, thank you for joining. I
Thank
love
you,
your
Dad.
dad.
He's
Your
very,
dad
very
is
supportive.
he's very supportive. Last time when we were here, he was also very, very supportive, and I love it. I really love it, sir. Thank you for joining. Salute to you, and thank you for being supportive as well. And now I have to mute Eunice because you have to put in your earphones on your phone first. Otherwise, we're gonna get feedback here as well. So great. She requested me to put off her video, so we're gonna go into the conversation again, and we're gonna welcome everybody, and then we're gonna take a short break. I'm gonna run a message here about mental health month, so please be keen, and then we will go into the final factor that we have lined up, actually two more, and then we're also going into what are the ways in which we can be able to mitigate mental health issues in women. So please stay tuned. Tell a friend to tell a friend, share the broadcast, share the video, and then so that we all can learn together. So here we go, and then we will be back just in a minute. Hello, everybody. My name is Victoria Kata, and this is Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, the beauty of this month is the fact that we are all getting to set a focus on our mental health, and this is something that is very, very close and dear to all of us, and very, very important, something that is very underrated. Now, one of the things that I would like to challenge you with is to do something for yourself. Find a self-care routine, find a plan over what you're going to do in this journey in this month. If it's fitness, find a fitness plan. If it's journaling, go buy the journal that you have been waiting too long to buy, which you have been procrastinating on buying. If it's whatever it is that you need to do in this month to take care of yourself mentally, please go out and do it. Find a way in which you can do it, and let me challenge you to see what result you're going to yield by the end of the month. Be consistent, and let's work on it together. See you on the whole journey. Bye. On the whole journey, and we are here together. Now, the next thing we're going to tackle is postpartum depression. Postpartum depression. And I think this is one that is not talked about that often. However, it is one that is very, very common. A lot of women go through postpartum depression. And for those who don't know what postpartum depression is depression that gets to women, or other women get when they, after they give birth. So this could be fear and isolation towards themselves. Also, questions about whether or not they can be able to handle having a child. A lot of times, we also see women who completely disregard, their kids and so on and so forth. And this is not from a point of not wanting to care for the child, but this is postpartum depression, and this is something that is not addressed in some of our heavy cultures, right? And this is a problem. It's a huge problem where we do not address it in the way that it's supposed to be addressed. We often shun down upon it, and a lot of people also, we go back to the whole aspect of having to deal with the family aspect and being a nurturer. There's this pressure on women to naturally be caregivers, to naturally be nurturers. And a lot of women usually question themselves, especially if something goes wrong during the first pregnancy. um whether they're able to handle it, or whether the child, they will know if the child is full, whether, and a lot even for them who are not able to breastfeed or are not able to give enough milk to the child. There's a lot that happens, and we do not address how these women can be able to get assistance. And this can grow. It is a mental health issue itself, but it can also grow to even more mental health issues. Eunice, you're back. Please let us know, what are your thoughts on this? You are muted, my darling.
Depression.
Great, now you're unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, when it comes to postpartum depression, I like to take it in a two different dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
We do have
Mm-hmm.
antenatal depression, and we also
Mm-hmm.
have postnatal depression.
Mm-hmm.
Postnatal depression
Mm-hmm.
is it happens after you give birth, and then
Mm-hmm.
antenatal depression, it happens when you're pregnant. So
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself most of the time that you are depressed or having low moments, mood swings, attitude when you're pregnant. That's when it's called
Mm-hmm.
antenatal depression.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of feeling like you've lost yourself, you've not achieved things that you wanted to achieve before you're pregnant, or you even feel you're not ready. And some of the time it can even cause you to have a problem with your partner, and you'll find most of the women, it really affects them to a point that they end up divorcing, or they end up just parting ways with their partners before they even give birth. So it is a very, very difficult thing that happens to women. And I think that most women do not really get to understand and seek help, especially when they are pregnant, because they just feel like, okay, this is baby moods, mood swing that is just going to last for a week, or it's going to last for 5 days. But it's a serious thing, and it needs you to seek help so that you can be able to know how to manage it and how you can be able to control it. That is antenatal depression. Now, postnatal depression is now what happens after you give birth. I have not given birth myself, but I do have a lot of friends who have kids, and after they have kids, they start feeling like they're not good parents. Like they're not enough for their babies. Like their baby could have had a better life if they had a better parent. So it actually happens to a lot of women in the society. Imagine having to balance your career after you just gave birth, having to take care of yourself, having to take care of your husband, having to take care of your parents as well. So it's very difficult for women. After you give birth, maybe you find that you're not having enough milk to breastfeed your child. You feel like your child is taking all of your space, and you just cannot be able to balance your life anymore. You start feeling like maybe I should take this baby for adoption and get my life back on track. But one thing that I usually tell women is that when a child is born, a mother is also born. Like how you are before you gave birth and how you're going to be after you give birth, those are two different people. You have to upgrade yourself. You have to move like, okay, now the baby is here, I'm now a mother, I have to give attention to this baby. You have to be reborn for you to be able to be this mother. You cannot be able to be a mother and continue with the same character that you were before you had a baby. So those are two different characters that you give yourself time. Motherhood is a lifelong journey. Like it's your whole life. Imagine being responsible for a child for the rest of your life. That is a lot of responsibility. A father can bail out, but a mother, you're not expected to bail out according to the society. You're not expected to just leave your child there, but you're supposed to be there for your child every time. So it is a lot of things that you need to really balance. So it takes a lot, and it needs a lot of courage. We need women to support each other, come and talk about it, start support groups about pregnant women, and even after pregnancy. Let us remind, even for men, let's remind our women that they are still beautiful even after giving birth. Women will just be like, okay, I'm now having baby fats, my stomach is all over. Let's take it upon us, for the society, to remind these women that they are stronger than they think, that they're still beautiful, regardless giving birth. They are great mothers, and give them a chance to be mothers. That's what I think.
And I love that. I love that. I just noticed we have some comments that have not been able to jump in here on this side. So I'm just going to read them out. And this is from Facebook. So Alan Koskei says, tuned in from Eldoret to Wasingishu County. Thank you very much, Alan. And then Daniel Rio says, this women need to be empowered. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Danny. And thank you for tuning in. I just noticed that my settings were not set to public, and this is why we haven't seen the comments here on the section. And I had just changed that, so hopefully next time we'll be able to see all the comments that are coming in. So my apologies, actually they just tuned in from Wasingishu County. I just changed the settings, so thank you very much. These women need to be empowered. Hey, thank you very much, Danny, and thank you for joining in. Just change my settings so we can see all the comments, so thank you very much for that. Now with that said, we're gonna go into menopause. Whew. We've just come from the young side, and then now we're going into menopause directly. And a lot of people don't understand that menopause actually has a lot of mental health, changes for women. I know that a lot of people think, oh, when a woman reaches menopause, she should be happy, no more periods and so on and so forth. But it also changes them, because this is gonna be a total mood swings and much more. And there's also some people who do get early menopause, and this also now goes into, if for instance you planned on having kids, or you maybe have not yet had kids and you go into early menopause, it can also mess up with your mental health because of the infertility issues. Now, Eunice, what are your thoughts on this before we go into the ways to mitigate mental health issues? You have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes. We can still hear the background. You just muted yourself again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. But we can still hear the other device.
Okay, is it better right now?
You need to completely, it's either you put your earphones in that one, or you completely mute it. Like you completely
let me
reduce
just
the volume. Yes. Menopause issues, and these are issues that affect a lot of women, especially in their early, midlife. And one of the things that is there, again, we go back to the infertility aspects, where women who had hopes of, getting kids at a certain point, end up not getting kids, and this influences and affects them mentally to some degree. I want to hear whether Eunice's sound is back on. Eunice, can you try?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely, and now it's clear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, it looks like people in the village are trying to disrupt us. Like someone is working against us directly. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay,
You
no
can't
problem.
hear me though.
So when
Okay, great.
it comes to menopause,
Mm-hmm.
even before we talk about menopause, I want us to talk about infertility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we have women who go through menopause. Let's say they had kids, they've had babies, they've had 4 babies, and then they go through menopause. And also we have women who are struggling with infertility for the rest of their lives,
Yeah.
That is a lot. That is big, especially when it comes to the society expectations. People are expecting you to get married by 30, have kids, have a stable marriage by all this time, and be able to balance everything, including your marriage, your career, and your life. So menopause causes a lot of it comes with a lot of hormonal imbalance,
Environment,
and
yes.
it leads to mood swings, it leads to attitude, it can lead to mental health problems like anxiety, depression. It can be a very traumatic experience for women, and each woman
experience these things in a different way and in a different level. So
Mhm.
I feel like the society, women empowerment is very important. Let me just say that women empowerment is very important, but I feel like the society has focused on women empowerment in terms of career, in terms of
Mhm.
making it in life, making money, and has neglected the aspect of actually being a woman, like the problems that we are facing,
Absolutely.
including menstruation, including menopause, including
Mhm.
marriage. Nobody's going to teach you how to be a good wife. Nobody's going to teach you that menopause is coming and you need to prepare for this. Nobody's going to teach you that you're going to have a baby soon, or when the time comes, and you're going to experience you're going to have attitude, or you're going to experience as if you're not enough for your child. Nobody really prepares you for this thing, but we are just focused on making money, conquering the world as women, being presidents, but we're not really focused on the actual responsibilities that comes with being a woman. So I feel like we
Mhm.
need to empower women, not just on
Mhm.
career wise, but actually on a human being level, becoming
Mhm.
parents, becoming better wives, dealing with menopause when it comes, seeking help, and even joining women that are also facing the same thing that we are facing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
And I agree
So,
with
and
you
you
on that.
Okay, and you also find that mostly men will not really understand menopause. They're like, okay, how
Mm.
does this happen? Menopause can find you at 45, it can find you at 40, depending with your own
Mm.
biological standards of stuff. So it can find you in a different age. It's not a must that it finds in 45. So we really need to empower women in terms
Mhm.
of at a human perspective way, in a biological
Mhm.
way as well, teaching them in all these
Mhm.
aspects. So that's what I think.
And I agree with you on that. And that brings us to ways in which you can mitigate mental health issues in women. And I think you also mentioned one, seeking help and attending counseling sessions. Now, one of the most important things in regard to, being, you know, having mental health issues, first and foremost, speaking about it, and speaking about it to um whoever is going to listen, especially professionals. Seeking help is not a sign of weakness, and I think this cuts across all genders, all ages. Last time we talked about children and being able to take your children through the help that they need, especially psychological assistance, attending counseling sessions, and attending such sessions such as this, because all the things that we have mentioned are factors that influence mental health. And to some women, they may have not even known this, and others and some men don't even understand some of these things. And this is why mental health awareness and these awareness sessions are needed in society. This is why we have these sessions, so that we can be able to create awareness on these matters. It is very, very important. So the other thing that Eunice also mentioned was organizing and attending support groups, and I'll let her tell us a little bit more about that. Eunice, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I've noticed in our society is that okay, first of all, most women experience depression and mental health problems, unlike men. Most women are likely to attempt suicide, but most men actually die from suicide. That is a fact. So most women also, the good thing about women is that women speak. The thing is, who are you speaking to? Because the person that you could be speaking to could be the person that wants to hang you, actually. Unfortunately, when it comes to women, that actually happens. So women are more of expressive beings, unlike men. Women express themselves. It's just that who are you expressing all these things to? You might go to someone and tell them all the challenges that you're facing and the mental stability that you're currently facing, and they're like, you know what, just end it. So it's about who you're speaking to, finding the right people, finding the right group of people who are actually going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing and want to actually help you. I feel like also the society can tend to judge people. They're like, okay, this one is crazy. When you go for counseling, it's crazy. When you go for a support group, it's crazy. You know, it's not being crazy. It's seeking help, and it's important for you and for everybody in the society. So I feel like there's need, especially in Africa. I think from your side, Victoria, I think you people, you've kind of got it all covered. But when it comes to Africa, we've not really put these things as a matter of concern. We need to organize a lot of support groups, and not just for university students, women that are already in their careers in terms of organizations. We need to start these things from a younger age. Even in high school, we need to organize support groups from these kids so they grow up being mentally strong and being able to speak up. One thing that I've known is that when you gather with your friends, or with people that have gone through the same thing that you've gone through, or they know somebody that has gone through what you go through, it actually makes the burden less, and it's less exhausting, it's less overwhelming. Like I usually say, a problem shared is a problem half solved. So if we can get support groups, meet as women, meet as colleagues, meet as students in the university, even in high school, let's just gather around and talk about these things that are actually challenging to us. Menstruation, you know, you can, every day, every month, women go through menstruation, and it's really overwhelming. You know, you can just be like, okay, do I really have to go through this? But you definitely have to go through this. So we need to gather around and talk about all these things. We need support group from a younger version. And I think that is the problem that we're currently facing as Africa. We've not really been taught on how to embrace mental health. We've not really been told that, you know, mental health, you should take it seriously. And it's everything. Imagine if you're ignoring our mental health, how are we going to be able to be best in whatever we do? As students, your parents are expecting you to perform well, get A's, and go to Harvard. How are you going to go to Harvard if your mental health is not at its best? You know, as a parent also, how are you going to be able to be a good parent to your child if your mental health is unstable? There's one thing I also forgot to mention. I think it's because of all these crazy things. We need to also break it down to generational and age gaps. We have Gen Z, we have millennials, we have millennials, we have baby boomers. Gen Z are people, let's say, is it 10 to 25? And then we have millennials, that is 26 to 35, and we have millennials from 36 to 45. All these people, Gen Z, what Gen Z go through is not what millennials go through. It's not what millennials go through. So we need to be able to deal with mental issues based on the age groups. Because one thing that I've realized is that millennials are easy to talk. Millennials are people from 25. They are easy to talk. 26. They're easy to talk to. They can be able to talk to their friends when they have issues. They don't have such challenges like expressing themselves. But we have this Gen Z. Victoria, are you a Gen Z? Okay, we have Gen Z. Gen Z are one of the people that experience a lot of pressure, especially social media pressure. You know, they wanna be seen in Lamborghini. You know, they're making it. All hell queens, all hell kings. You know, money making
Yeah.
is easy for them.
Can we
Can you
also
hear me?
address the fact that, yeah, can we also address the fact that we had this saga quite recently with the Dubai ladies, who, again, we go back to, you know, this whole aspect of even the age factor with women is different, and there are different kind of pressures
Yes.
as well. So I think that's also another topic to handle. We need to handle that one as well.
Yeah.
But
So
go
we
on,
need to
sorry
figure
for
out
interrupting.
we need to figure
Yeah,
out a
go
way
on.
to deal with I agree with you. We need to figure out a way to deal with these people based on their age groups, because how a millennials behaves is not how a millennial or how a Gen Z is going to behave. uh, Recently in Kenya, I've been seeing a lot of Gen Z as are committing suicide, attempting suicide. These are people, high schoolers. I'm talking about high schoolers mostly, and people who just recently joined university. They are facing a lot of societal pressure. You know, making money. The one thing I've noticed that they want to do everything by the time they reach 26. They want to have
Yeah.
all of it. They want to have
Yes.
everything sorted. They want to have billions. They want to have their own house. They want to have their own cars. They want to get married before then, have kids, and retired by 26. Can you imagine how insane that is? So I feel like we really need to put a lot of pressure in terms of mental health awareness for these
Mm-hmm.
particular people, uh,
Mm-hmm.
just to end the suicidal thoughts, just to tell them that everything is going to be okay. It doesn't have to happen,
Mm-hmm.
all of it right now. Enjoy the journey.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
there's no deadline in life, in short. There's
Mm-hmm.
no deadline at all.
Absolutely. And before we even finish the time up, I will also go through the final ones. So we have also practicing positive affirmation and creating routines. I'd like to take that one. And something that worked for me, and also something that I try also to remind my people, especially the closest circle of women that I have around me, is constantly
Mhm.
affirming them, telling them you're beautiful, you're strong, and so on and so forth, especially if we're going through issues and so on and so forth. So if there's something that has helped me throughout, some of the hard seasons, and also getting me through all these pressures that we mentioned earlier of being a woman, and my mental health, as well as one of the things I was sharing with Eunice before, there's a lot of pressure. I have so much going on that it gets so packed, and it creates this bubble of pressure and this ball of pressure that I feel like, I'm almost exploding. I just prick at me and boom, you know but one thing that one thing that I constantly remind myself is that I'm worth it. I am good enough. I am beautiful. I am strong. And these things I used to think, it's stupid. Why are you gonna tell yourself, these things? It seems crazy, right? But every morning you wake up, I talk to myself on the mirror, and you cannot tell me nothing. And that energy that makes me get out of the door looking good, feeling myself, is things that I bring to myself. And like I said, practice positive affirmations. There's nobody who's gonna do it for you. There's nobody who's gonna tell you more than you can tell yourself that you are worth it. There's nobody who can tell you more than yourself that you are indeed gorgeous. There's nobody who can tell you more than yourself that you're hardworking. There's nobody who can tell you more than yourself. You know yourself best. You are the only person who can tell those things to yourself, that and actually make it really sink in you. And nobody can tell you otherwise once you believe certain things about yourself. How you view yourself is very, very important. As a woman, how do you view yourself? What is your identity? Are you self aware? Have you created a routine around you that nobody can break? If this is waking up in the morning, taking a run, doing your morning prayers, doing your morning meditation, doing your morning thingy, that sets you up in the mood, and practicing your positive self affirmations, do it, and create a routine around you that is stronger than anything else. It is very, very important. The inside work is important. The inside work that you do within yourself can really determine a lot. It is very, very important that the inside work is done, because once the inside work is done, the outside cannot have an effect. And this is something that I had to remind myself today. I had to remind myself that I need to go back to being that powerhouse, that nobody can tell me anything because of who I am. And I was going through some things for the past few months, and I thought to myself, what is it? And I never took a moment to tell myself, focus, right? I never took a moment to remind myself of who the hell I am. I know who the hell I am. And once you walk in that confidence, once you walk in that knowledge of you are a powerhouse, I am a powerhouse, and nobody can tell me otherwise. I have not gotten this far only to get this far. Some women need to speak this into themselves. If it is your body positivity, whatever it is, go out there and speak that to yourself. If it is your work, if it is your children, whatever it is about you as a woman, speak that. And sometimes it will take you moments of hardship to have to remind yourself of who you are, because sometimes the pressures of life gets to you to a level where you feel that I cannot do this. The pressures of life get you to a negative mental state, but the things that get you to a positive mental state, trust me, are easier than you actually think they are, but they are the hardest, because it's only consistency that can get you to that level of which you can remind yourself of who you are. It is consistent positive affirmations. It is consistent remembering your routine. It is consistently taking those breaks. If it's 5 minutes a day, I had to take a step back. Yesterday, I had to shut down everything and say, I need to know who the hell I am. I need to go back to who the hell I am. And I am Victorian Kappa, and nobody can tell me nothing. I am exactly who I think I am. I am exactly who I believe I am. I am exactly who I know I am. And these are the things that, unless you get to that point of ownership, unless you get to that point of you are standing firm in the woman that you are woman first, you are who you are, and you are owning who you are with all your flaws. I don't care about your thighs and your cellulite. I don't care about all that. That is not the only thing that makes you who you are. It's not. You are a powerhouse. Constantly we look at the small negative things, that we forget the bigger things that are good within us. We forget that I am not defined by my this and that. I am not
Yeah.
only defined by how my hair looks. I am not only defined, it is an accumulation of very many things that make me who I am. And those
Yeah.
positive affirmations are the ones that get you to a point, constantly, consistently looking in the mirror and saying, I am a powerhouse. Even at your worst, even when I take off the hair and I take off the makeup, I still look at myself and I'm like, you gorgeous, you gorgeous, right? Even when I take it all off, even when I
Yeah.
take it all off, and I still look in that mirror and I'm thinking, you are hella gorgeous. There is power in how you speak to yourself. Now, this is not
There is.
even only for the men and women in terms of matter. In men, this is not only for the women, but in terms of your mental health, there's nothing better than how you speak to yourself. Everything that works in here is all about how you speak to yourself. So if you think that you can say something about me that you think I'm not aware, oh Jesus, I I think that the inner work that I had to do has held me through so much. And now, even with my breakdowns,
Mhm.
I go back to a point of, I remind myself of the inner work, and I think, you know what? Auntie Gucci's got this. Auntie Auntie Gucci's got this. And that's just that. There's nothing else that can change that. And that is the way you need to handle yourself as a woman. It is very important. Positive affirmations and creating healthy routines for yourself is at the top of positive mental health, very much at the top of positive mental health. Um, there's something I need Eunice to handle before we close down, because I can see we're already over time. Eunice,
Mhm.
there's something that you mentioned to me, avoiding unhealthy competition. Please tell us about our lovely women. Please tell us about how our lovely women love unhealthy competition. We embrace unhealthy competition. It's a mess. And we don't realize how much it tears us down.
I totally agree with you. First of all, I just want to agree with everything that you said about affirmations. I love what you say. I love how you embrace yourself, how you embrace your flaws, how you embrace your greatness. I'm like, oh my God, I am ready to take this thing down. Nobody can tell me anything. I love that. About avoiding unhealthy competition. Women are the biggest people that compete with each other, not even men, you know? It's like you see a woman, she looks beautiful. You're like, you know what? I can look better than her. You know, you see a woman, she's doing much better and she's succeeding in terms of her career wise. Even in our own organizations, you cannot find a woman training her own fellow woman because of why this woman is going to be greater than me. This woman is going to do much better than me. She's going to replace me in my work. There's nothing like that. What is for you is for you. No one can take that from you. And we are more powerful when we support each other. Let us be people who support each other. Let us be people who complement each other. Just because you look beautiful doesn't mean you're taking any of my space. We all have our own space. Even if you just even if you just walk around, some people will just size you, look at you up and down, like, oh my goodness, she has all that curves and I don't have any. My God. It is okay if you don't have it. That is what makes you you. It's like we're competing in every sector, academic wise, marriage wise. My marriage is doing better. Even in our own families, we are competing. Sisters are competing against each other, oh, I want to show my parents that I am better than our firstborn. I want to show my parents that I'm better than our lastborn. I want to show them that I'm the best kid that I have. Let's not nobody can take your space. Why are we focusing on competing with each other instead of putting all that energy in building each other up? I like the fact that we are both women who are handling this, Victoria and Eunice. That shows already cooperation. If we can cooperate as like Eunice and like Nkata, then we can take this country and this world in better places. We can be able to help women, help each other. When you see someone falling, when you see someone depressed as a woman, let's not take that to fire us and be like, you know what, this is my time to take over. One thing that I've even realized, even in competitions, you'll find that women are sabotaging each other, intentionally. I just want this person to lose their job so that I can keep. Like I've told you, we all have our own spaces. Nobody's taking anybody's space. Let's just try to embrace each other as women, to support each other as women. Even in where I work with women, and in fact, it was this month that I was told that, you know what, I need you to train some people that might replace you. And I was like, bring them. If somebody will replace me, they have to be better than me. Because when I leave this place, I want someone better than me to do this. I'm not leaving this to anybody that is going to destroy this company. Let us love things more than how we love to compete, and I took it, and she's actually good. And I was like, oh my God, I've definitely did a good job here. So let us be people who empower each other as women, and not just trying to bring each other down in all levels. We all have our own spaces in the world. Nobody can take your
Take it up.
space.
Take up
Nobody.
your space. No, take up take up your own space and be you. There's
Exactly.
nobody
Exactly.
else who can be better than you. The final thing, as we wrap up, work out and be active, especially with the things that you love doing. If you have any hobbies, please go on. There's some of us who become too comfortable in who we are that we forget that even our physique requires us to be better, and physique, being fit, does a lot to our mental health. I always say this, I have a very unhealthy relationship with the gym, but you know what, I still don't give up. I still go. I have it is my thing. Every time I'm trying to teach on not giving up, I always go back to my gym, because we have a very unhealthy relationship. And but the thing is that I will still go to the gym, and I will still go to that gym, and I'll tell them, yeah, I'm here again, we try this again. It's a constant love relationship. But the thing is that the point is, staying active can really do wonders to your mental health. It can really do wonders. And again, like I said, there's some simple things that we need to practice, simple best practices. But to be honest, they're not as simple as they sound. Staying consistent in the gym is hell. Having to get yourself to say those positive. Have you ever had to stand in the mirror? You're looking at yourself at your worst, and you're like, I am great, I am powerful. You're starting to cry. I am the best. I am this and that. And that that has happened to me severally when I'm looking at myself. I am great. I am. So the tears are just. Tears are just falling down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am Victoria Kata, and then tears are just but it is hard. These best practices that we mentioned here, they can be hard to stay consistent with, but they are effective. I have done the inner work. And these are not just, stuff that we talk about or stuff people are talking about online and so on and so forth. These are things that we work on daily, even in ourselves. These are things that we do every single day. If you know me, even on my social media accounts, I'm very, very positive. I love myself. Oh, me. I love my I used to hate myself. Eunice, let me tell you, I used to hate myself. I used to dislike myself. But it got to a point where once I found myself, listen, I am beautiful. If you ask some of my friends, they get photos day in, day out. I feel some of my friends, their phone galleries are filled with me. if I'm dating you, you'll be getting photos every single day. Me, I love myself. Chai!
Yeah.
And it's not even from a point of being, I see, I feel like I'm better than anyone. But if I don't love myself first, I will love nobody first. I will not learn to love anybody. A lot of us need to also deal with that. Women, love yourself first. Even getting to a point of that reminds me, best practices again. This is another best practice. Love on yourself as much as you can. Nobody else will love you the way you can love yourself. And you can never love anyone else before you love yourself. The love that I have, I realized that I got from a point of, hating on people and so on and so forth, because those things used to happen. But when I tell you that I had to really do that inner work, and now the love that I even give to people, it's because I love myself so much. I I treat myself with the utmost regard, treat myself with the utmost. I take myself out on dates. Listen, me, no man to take me out on dates, no problem. No, no problem. I will go. Yeah, I will sit in that restaurant. I will order the best of the food. I will sit down with my phone, with my book, with my laptop, whatever it is. Do you see the way I look? It's because I love myself. It's because I love myself. And that is the energy that you need to live this life with. You cannot go through life being timid. You cannot go through life not hating on yourself. You cannot go through life hating on who you are, because that same energy that you have on the inside of you is what will now be projected to the outside. Sometimes, and I learned this very recently, people project what they have on the inside of themselves. So people who keep on insulting, tara, 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 you hear people with a lot of negativity. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because you're taking up so much space. You're loving on yourself. You're treating yourself well. You're getting to the best that you can be able to be, and giving that to other people as well, that it annoys. Do you know, somebody said my anointing will annoy some people's demons. It annoys their demons. It annoys their demons. When you
Yes.
love on yourself, hatred within some people, it bubbles. You see, the hate is bubbling, that they want to fight you all the time. Come and fight me. Come and fight me. Come and fight me, because you know what? My love that will radiate on you will make you change your mind. Oh, will make you change your mind. Listen, me, I'm crazy. I am crazily in love with myself, crazily in love with the people that are around me. But that did not happen until I got to that point of doing that work. And of course, I have insecurities. I have insecurities, but guess what? I love even the flaws. Me, you tell me I look some type of way, I look do 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 do. Guess what? It's not because I don't know. It's not because I don't know. Me, I know. And you know what? I love it too. I love that too. So don't let anybody have to come to you. And it's part of also being self aware. I'm making fun here, but I hope you're listening. I'm not making fun for nothing. I'm telling you my reality. Listeners, I'm telling you my reality. I got from a point of hating on me heavily. I used to dislike Eunice. I used to starve myself. I tell you, I used to starve myself. I used to starve myself because I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. All of that, I hated it. I hated the way I sounded, until now. I could hear my voice. I sing, I record it, and then I listen to it again. I look at myself, I take pictures. You will die because of pictures. Me, I don't care what you think. I will bombard you with my photos. So,
Uh-huh.
so and that had a lot of work. That was a lot of work.
Mhm.
Any final remarks, my darling?
Okay, I love your energy. I wish we could be doing this every day, you know? I really love it. One thing that I will say is that you can only give what you have inside you. You only give what you have in the world. If you have love in your heart, you can only be able to give that. If you do not have love in you, you cannot give that love. Another thing, there are a lot of people that are trying to put you down. There are a lot of people telling you that you cannot make it, that you're worthless, that you'll never be able to achieve anything in your single life, that you're a loser. Don't make yourself to be one of those people. Be among the people that are the ones to embrace you. Embrace you. Tell yourself, like Victoria has said, tell yourself, you know what, I'm the baddest, and there's nowhere you can take me. Love yourself violently. I'm not telling you to beat people, no, but love
Ah,
yourself violently and protect that space. Do not beat anyone, but love yourself in a way that nobody can break you down.
absolutely.
I've come from a place of have lacking confidence. I grew up lacking confidence, like I've told you in our previous session. I grew up not liking myself, not loving myself, thinking that there's something wrong with me, and I had to outgrow that space. So I'll just tell people that don't be among the people pushing you down. You are enough. You're beautiful.
Mm,
Positive affirmation. Another thing, you have to connect with your spirituality. Your spiritual being has everything to do with your mental state. You
mm,
need to spirituality does not just mean religion. For some people, yoga does it for them. That is also spirituality. As long as you have
mm,
something to connect with your inner being. For some people, yoga does that. For me, I'm a Christian. I have to listen to someone. I have to pray. You have to connect with your soul, with your inner being. Connect with yourself, spirituality. Tell God to help you to know who you are. You cannot be able to just wake up and know, oh, I'm Victoria, I'm amazing, I'm going to be an amazing counselor or psychology. You have to seek spiritual help and spiritual guidance. You can't just wake up and be like, oh my God, I'm amazing. And you have to keep on doing this regularly, consistency
yes.
in
Mhm,
connecting with your spirituality. So you
mhm.
are everything. You're enough. As a woman, doesn't matter what you're going through. Your marriage, it has failed, no problem. Pick yourself up. Rudy Soko. But before
Ogambio.
Nana, but before Rudy,
Ogambio.
exactly. But before Rudy Soko, find yourself first. I think women mostly are depending on male validation a lot. You know, it's like we are nothing without men. If I don't have a man, I am nothing. Honey, you're everything. You're
And you
everything. You're
see,
enough.
Eunice, before we start now talking about this again, you see, the problem is they can see that. It's like the world can read energy, and
Yes.
once you fully depend on you're seeking validation, guess what, it won't get there. You'll often realize that it is the women who are in tune with themselves that is the attractive. Even you, which kind of friend
Yeah.
would you rather be with? Which type of friend would you rather be with? The confident friend, you see, that is the one who you'd gravitate towards, because you're like, she's
Yes.
in herself, she's in tune with herself, rather than having that friend who wants to constantly seek validation from you, and you
Yeah.
have to do all this work to keep on validating somebody. But it is very, very, it is having friends who they are in tune with their jobs, they are in tune with themselves, they are in tune with who they are, they know. And this is what I say, I love my circle of women. Why? Because these women know who they are, who, hey,
Wow.
hey, they are gonna laugh at me with that one. Oh, they are gonna take that one. They know who they are, they are confident within themselves. Some of them are introverts, but that doesn't mean they are not secure in who they are. They are very
Mhm.
secure in who they are, and therefore they support wholeheartedly. We support each other very wholeheartedly, and that is something that amazes me. Now imagine women who you have to constantly validate, who constantly have to seek that validation. It's because they have that insecurity within themselves, and slowly, if they don't change that, they can now get to that point of being competitive and having unhealthy competitions.
Yeah.
We have to close this, Aki. We are 19 minutes past the hour. We have to close this. Eunice, it has been amazing having you. We had some technical issues, and that's why we have also extended for a longer period. But we are here every Thursday, Thriving Thursday. Eunice wants to also join us every Thursday. So she'll be joining us most of the Thursdays, if not all. And we'll be having these sessions. It's all about mental health, it's all about growth. It is all about, being in tune with who you are. And next week, it's all about disorders. And I can see Nyokabi saying that she's loving the smiley faces. So thank you very much, Nyokabi. Thank you for tuning in. And also remember to tell a friend to tell a friend. We're here, every Thursday, and also do share the broadcast. With that said, it is 20 minutes past the hour, and I'm going to bid you good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Have a beautiful night, day, afternoon, wherever you are. And do not forget to follow us on our social media accounts at responding underscore to life, at Victoria underscore to Nkatha, and at Eunice. Have a good evening, and we will see you next week. Bye.